Disbro sales staff, Jeff here. Just want to touch base. We're going to start doing our sales process, and some of the things I like to implement in my sales process is sort of like introduction is where you start. Obviously, that's when you first meet the customer. Now, whether it's off a booked appointment, off a sales call, or it's just somebody fresh off the lot, or you've got somebody coming in to see off a referral. We only get one chance to make like a first impression. But during that first impression, you want to gather sort of an attitude or a sort of an upfront contract based on what you're going to do as far as the process, as far as showing them cars, getting their car looked at, presenting numbers and everything. And that's where you can really establish sort of the control factor of the sale. One thing I always like to do is establish first off, right off the bat, I want to get their cell phone and email and their name. I want to know who the car is for, and I want to know who's going to be driving the car. Because if you find out all that information, it'll really help you, get all the decision makers present. You've heard me say that. And as far as developing a relationship with somebody, it's really important to not do what everybody else does in our industry. Is that's like sort of take what the last sales guy did and try and pick up where they left off. It's really important to establish yourself as different and wanting to start your process with them. So how I would do that is, say for example, you get a customer that comes in that talks about being at another dealership, where I always say the weak salesperson will go to that exact same make, model, trim and try and beat the price on what they didn't buy at the other dealership. And I'm a big believer on the fact that price has nothing to do with whether they bought the car or not. And it's, I have a feeling, I'm a firm believer in they buy the product that they want based on getting good service and the salesperson. So if it's already, they've said no to that deal at another dealership, there's no point in going directly back to that vehicle to start. You want to establish yourself as different. So like, for example, I would quickly interrupt them if they were going, hey, so we were over at this dealership and I really didn't like it. I'd be like, whoa. Before you go there, I really am not interested in what you didn't buy at the other dealership. You mentioned you want to look at an SUV here. So what I was thinking is showing you an Equinox and a Terrain, but also we've got this new Envision that's absolutely beautiful. Why don't we take a look at all three of those? You can drive them, and also we'll look at the XT4 because we've got one in the showroom here, and it sort of sits in that class of vehicle. So you need to know your product at that point, but you also have to be open to showing somebody. And one little tip I'll tell you is that 95% of the people have researched the crap out of one vehicle coming in. So if you show them a few vehicles, you're at the advantage to actually, you might show them something that they like or teach them something and develop some added value to yourself. So just because, they say they want a Sierra Elevation, they bought 5 Sierra Elevations in a row, and you decide to show them a Trail Boss because, you just want to show them something a little different just in case, they might say no, and then look at that Trail Boss and say yes. I can remember customers coming in not knowing exactly what a Traverse is and buying one recently because of the fact that they were shown and they were open to looking at vehicles. So you need to be open to showing vehicles and knowing our lineup of SUVs, trucks, knowing your stuff will help with that, but also being willing to just kind of go through it with people and spend the time. Don't be lazy in your introduction. Don't rush to, an appraisal or anything like that. What you need to do is in your introduction, in that first 5 minutes, you need to just develop a kind of a core attitude towards your sales process. Like say, for example, here's what I'd like to do today. I'd like to show you a bunch of vehicles, see if we can find something you really love. And if you do that, I'll grab the keys to your trade. And what we'll do is we'll get you a really awesome number for your trade. And right now, trades have never been worth more. So that's great news. So that part we're going to handle. I'd like to introduce you to my manager, Angela. She's going to look at your trade, get that process started. So if we do find you something you like, then, we'll already have had that top buck and we'll save you a bunch of time because we want to get to work on your trade right now so we can pay you the most amount of money for it. Boom. give me a sec. I'm gonna go grab Angela. You go grab your manager. You grab the keys to their trade-in. Maybe you, the customer, and Angela go walk around the trade at that point, and then you take the customer after. That gives you a chance to kind of introduce Angela into the process, and really make sure that she's involved and she knows they have a trade. If she knows they have a trade right off the bat, she can start working on that. We can start getting the lean information together, because as a salesperson, your really job is to organize that sale and make it easy as possible. So getting your customers all the stuff they need, lean, ownership, information, kilometers on their trade in, that's all your responsibility as a salesperson. So, if you get your manager involved, she can help, or I can help with pulling the lean and getting that part of the job. And that's a huge factor, because they may have been at a dealership and told the other dealership that they owe $10,000 on their vehicle, and then you run the lean and they only owe $6,000, and all of a sudden you're $4,000 less to a payment than the previous dealership. So that those are the type of things you need to investigate during your introduction, and really just build rapport and create that value in yourself and in Disc Bros as a dealership, so that we can stand out and be different for people, because people want to feel comfortable where they shop, and you want to spend about an hour with somebody in your process, because if you spend an hour, your chances of selling them a car goes up. So use that hour kind of as a time frame, so when you meet them, you use your 15-minute rapport building. You bring your trade and your manager. That'll take about 10 minutes, so there's never really dead air. And usually the one thing you want to avoid is not have your feet moving and having them standing stagnant and bored and stuff like that. You want to keep the process going. So you walk in the lot, showing them different features, finding them something to drive is very important. So in the introduction, your job is to get name, phone number, email, and develop reports. Very simple. Get all the trade information, get everything going in that introduction. But simple, what I'm asking from every sales rep, that everybody that comes in here, we get name, cell phone, and email. That's all I got for today. Let's keep selling.